Have you ever thought about whether you might be an introvert, or have you never given the term thought? First, let's clarify. In the psychology of personality, the introvert-extrovert axis is often considered the north or south of the personality. Extroversion is roughly characterized as a personality that generates psychic energy through social interaction, while introversion is a structure that generates energy in solitude and quiet. No one is an absolute introvert or extrovert. It is a spectrum, and you are very probably somewhere in between. This video, however, is meant for the more introverted. First, let's identify if you are or how far you are towards the introvert axis. Answer the following questions with either true or false. Answer according to how you are now, not how you wish to be. I prefer one-on-one conversations to group activities. I often prefer to express myself in writing. I enjoy solitude. I seem to care about wealth, fame, and status less than my peers. I dislike small talk, but I enjoy talking in depth about topics that matter to me. People tell me that I'm a good listener. I'm not a big risk taker. I enjoy work that allows me to dive in with few interruptions. I like to celebrate birthdays on a small scale with only one or two close friends or family members. People describe me as soft-spoken or mellow. I prefer not to show or discuss my work with others until it's finished. I dislike conflict. I do my best work on my own. I tend to think before I speak. I feel drained after being out and about, even if I've enjoyed myself. I often let calls go through to voicemail. If I had to choose, I'd prefer a weekend with absolutely nothing to do to one with too many things scheduled. I don't enjoy multitasking. I can concentrate easily. In classroom situations, I prefer lectures to seminars. If you got more true than false, you are likely on the introverted side of the spectrum. The more true you got, the more introverted you are, at least in theory. Keep in mind that even the creator of the terms, Carl Jung, warned that these traits should not be seen as absolutes, but rather as a rough framework to understand how individual human beings operate. Right, you're an introvert. What does this mean? It means that you live in a culture, if you're Westerner at least, that does not value the way you operate as much as how extroverted individuals operate. Fear not, however, for there is a way. First, I want to indulge my nerdiness. For reference and hope, here are some historical, current, and even fictional individuals thought to be introverted. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise, President Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, Rosa Parks, Bill Gates, Gandhi, Michael Jordan. Some people wrongly equate introversion with shyness, aloofness, and timidness, but introversion isn't that in itself. Shyness and timidness sometimes does manifest in introverted individuals, and probably more than in extroverted people, but that's probably because our culture expects us to be quite extroverted. I'm not going into details about how our culture seems to value introversion more than extroversion in this video, but let me know if you would like to hear my perspective on that. Now let's get into the juicy bits. How can someone, although fictionally, captain a starship and be an introvert? Or lead a nation and do it greatly like Abraham Lincoln? Well, I think it all comes down to playing and betting on your own strengths, knowing how to manage your energy and being aware of one's needs. Introverts can be great at social interactions. It's just that if they're consistently drained of energy, they will come off as weak and won't be at their full capacity. I myself am pretty introverted, but I can be extremely social too. I was once a student body president, for example. It was pretty hard on me, especially since I really didn't understand myself well enough. I thought something was wrong with me because I was quite often with low energy. I didn't realize that the problem wasn't how I am, but how I manage my energy and time. I thought I should be able to go at it 100% all of the time. I wasn't playing to my own strengths, which were actually quite typical of an introverted personality. I thought more deeply about problems and often had the right solutions to problems that our student body wasn't trying to solve. I would speak little, but said valuable things which were used. I was sensitive to the needs of others in our team and tread more carefully in regard to others than a typical extroverted student body president might. Introverts reflect. They generally need to process others and their own behavior more extensively before they feel secure in how they approach things. Having said all this, I think we can summarize in a practical bottom line. If you are introverted, first, realize that you are okay. You are not worse because you aren't as much of a social butterfly as others. You're different. Search your feelings, learn to manage your own energy, make a rough schedule where you put adequate downtime for you to recharge and digest. Play to your own strengths. Exert yourself, recharge and digest, then do it again. This will be a process. It takes time to learn how to manage oneself, and the first step to that is understanding oneself. Not how one wants to be, but how one is at the moment. That is always the place from where you will have to work. You can't be too hard on yourself, however, as that is counterproductive. Try to see yourself objectively, but also try to realize that maybe some parts of you that you don't like are integral to your very being. In that case, you would have to take that part of yourself that you have some reservations about and try to amplify what's good about it and try to depress what's bad about it. Nurture the right things and starve the right things. I myself am very much still in the process of discovering how I work, how I want to be, what are the things that I can change, what are the things that I can't change. And so I would love to hear your perspective, especially if you're an introvert who has given this some thought or just naturally have fallen into a holistic life rhythm that works for you. Please comment down below and tell me how you deal with yourself. What do you like? What do you do to keep yourself in check, in balance, going in the right direction? I would love to hear some of your stories and perspectives. Peace.